This is launch day for Harvest Hunt by Villainous Games Studios and Neonhive Games. I'm really excited to check this out in 1.0 because we were lucky enough to be able to stream some of it and showcase some of it on YouTube prior to release. And I will say that this was incredibly fun. Like, I was so surprised at how much fun I had with it. The audio elements of the game are unnerving in a way. They're creepy. They're not familiar to you, so you're just not sure what to expect until you start playing the game a bit more. So when you first jump in, you're very uneasy in the situation, in the environment, which is so cool. The visuals, like, there are so many things that you can like recognize. You know that you're in this village on this kind of farmland, but there are elements to it that are not familiar, and you're trying to learn and figure out, is this safe? Is this not safe? So you're at a constant state of unease. You're never fully comfortable, which is great. The creature that comes after you, it can scare you. It can come out of nowhere and boom, all of a sudden you are in a chase and you are going from being the hunter to the hunted. There are just many different elements of balance in the game that makes sense. It provides a certain level of challenge, a really nice sort of obstacle, and it all makes sense. Nothing fully feels like it's artificial, I guess is what I'm trying to get at, which is great. Like, you don't really come across many games where the restrictions you have don't feel, where they feel actually natural. So many games, they just feel artificial. And there's no real tie-in to the world and why those restrictions are in there, except for that the devs are trying to make it difficult. In this, you really don't feel that. You feel the restrictions, but it makes sense. There's a level of understanding, of comprehension to it, because you can see what's slowing you down. You can see what's making you stronger or weaker. It's fairly clear, and I really appreciate that. Also, this game is probably one of the first ones where this has worked effectively, let me tell you, where you can be in a chase, duck and hide, and actually lose the thing chasing you. Which makes sense, right? If you're crouched, if you're hiding, if you are quick enough, and if you're not making any noise, how would they know to go straight to you still, right? There are so many games where that happens, and it's so frustrating, and it's so immersion breaking, because you want to have that cat and mouse, but there's no cat and mouse there. It's mostly just constant chase. You don't get a chance to do anything else. If you're getting chased, it's like, too bad, sorry, right? Or you have to jump into a locker and then somehow magically the entity loses you, right? Or just can't like figure out how to open a door to a locker. So I really appreciate the fact that you can have this actual cat and mouse. You can duck and hide, you can then be proactive again and take steps to take out the devourer or get the ambrosia that you need that you're collecting. So it's very, very cool. We are on to the third person that you play as, because this is a first-person folklore horror roguelite. You are uncovering the mysteries and the lore behind this village and behind why you are facing the devourer, and behind each person you play as, because you play as different people each season. Season not meaning like battle royale season, like, oh, it's been a month and a half or 2 months, time to buy the new battle pass, nothing like that. Because we're talking about Harvest Hunt, we're talking about harvest season, we're talking about the season to which you harvest. So you are trying to collect ambrosia because it's the only thing that the villagers can eat. And what's really interesting is not only are you playing as the Warden, the specific villager that was being selected that season to take on the devourer and to collect the ambrosia, but whenever you kind of come back into the menu screen, I like to say the lobby, but it's not really a lobby. It's not like it's a co-op multiplayer experience. But whenever you kind of come back to the lobby to kind of recollect yourself and to look at your skills, your cards and everything else, your fortifications and what have you, that is where you learn that you're also kind of another character unraveling the lore of the people you're playing whenever they're the Warden. So you have this pretty interesting timeline that's happening and unraveling. You're sort of playing the present and the past, which is pretty neat. So the lore gives you quite a bit of value. Also on top of that, unlocking new cards that give you new abilities gives you value to keep playing. Getting new fortifications to help you in the environment to survive helps you to keep playing, gives you that value to keep pushing on. Now, there are different tools that you can utilize over time in the game as well, and there are different weapons and stuff like that. So there's a lot of different ways to strategize and play around in the environment, and you can play in different ways. You technically do not have to banish the Devourer every single night because you're trying to survive for 5 nights in this season. And so you really just have to get enough ambrosia and get out. It's up to you. But the thing is that you get more ambrosia for banishing the Devourer each night. So that could be very beneficial, especially when you have different kinds of mutations that happen every single night. So there are benefits. There's at least one card that's a benefit each night that changes, and then there's one card that's a detriment each night that changes. And sometimes the detriment is that all ambrosia is gone. You can't harvest it, which then pushes you, if you don't have enough ambrosia for the season, to try to banish the Devourer. Now, outside of those 2 cards, there's a third card, which is for the entire season, all 5 nights. And it is something that's sort of a boon to the Devourer as well. And we'll get into that. I know it's a lot of information, but I will say that once you jump in, it does make sense. There's a little bit of a learning curve, but nothing too extreme where it feels daunting. It definitely, at no point did it ever feel daunting playing this game. So let's go ahead and jump in. All right, so we're going to continue Vigil, and I love the art style. The art style kind of reminds me of a mixture of Darkest Dungeon and like Borderlands, sort of to an extent, but in first person, like first person Darkest Dungeon kind of thing, mixed with a little bit of Borderlands. I really like it. So you have your whole compendium of lore. You have the different characters. We played as Antonia and Martim, or Martum. And we still have, I don't know if it's Enid or Enid. And then we have Renee and Nathaniel to play as. You have different lore items for the village. You have Whispers, the Congregation, Luna Nova, the Mask, Ambrosia. So you wear a mask. The Devourer also has a mask. Luna Nova is the place that you're in, the village, the area. The Congregation is the church that sort of leads Luna Nova and its people. The Whispers are the things that the Warden overhears or kind of picks up. And the Whispers, when you listen to them, they tend to give you the little boons or detriments. You have different landmarks, core landmarks on the map. You have the tree, the Dead Guardian, the Marigold Windmill, the Church of the Rose, the church, and secondary landmarks. So several different like little locations here and there, like a tannery or a blacksmith area and stuff like that. It talks about the curse, so you not only have the Devourer, which is the main antagonist here, at least as far as we know of, but we also have different fiends. There are different fiends that will either hear you or see you, and they will try to point you out to the Devourer, and thus pushing the Devourer to then appear toward your location. Whether it's by movement above ground or underground, because there are different sort of holes that it will come up through and appear. Kind of like a dune worm in a way. It also talks about the cards. We have Warden Strengths, Village Fortifications, and the different tools you can use, like Blood Flask. There's also the investigation as a whole, talking about unexpected deaths, related cases, fungal research, mythological creatures, and language. And then, of course, everything for the tutorial. So if you miss something in the initial sort of Season 1 tutorial setup, it's all right here. So if you forget something, you can always go, wait a minute, let me check this out real quick. Let me see what's going on. And I really appreciate that. Because not only is it just you reading a bunch of stuff, but they have things color coordinated, they have images, they have symbols next to stuff, so that way you can really see what you're working with, what they're talking about, which is great. This is really nice visually. So, and that is basically the breakdown of the compendium. So there's a lot of information here, but it's really cool. It's a really cool and well thought out and well written. So it's easy to fall into it. Now we're starting off Season 3, Day 1, with the third character, Enid, or however you say it. She is a cunning woman, so she's kind of like a sort of witch in a way, or like a medicine woman or shaman. And with this character, each character has their own strength that they start with. So they're going to start with one card. And for her, it's Stalker. Move a lot faster while crouching, which let me tell you is really nice. That is actually a really nice card. Now, you can have up to 5 cards, but you will get more. So you can get to a point where you can start sacrificing cards, which is pretty nice, honestly. The fact that you're not stuck in a certain quote-unquote build, if you will, but you can switch out cards, you can sacrifice, and then pick a new card. You know, because again, because of the sort of mutations or curses that you can get, it does change up the gameplay, which means some cards might be useless after a while. So it does come in handy to sacrifice when needed. Now we do have 4 of 4 village fortifications. We have foraging. After every successful banishment, gain 20 more ambrosia. I'll take that. Energy rations. Using rations increases your maximum vigor by 5, up to a maximum vigor of 150. So vigor is your health bar. Vigor comes into play quite a bit. Not only is it your health, which means that if you get to 0, you're dead. That's a failure. But if you want to place tools or weapons around the map, you have to spend your vigor. So out of 100 total vigor, let's say, or 90 vigor, or whatever the character has, you will lose 10 or 20 or 30 to place a specific tool. This is balancing out how to make it where the player isn't too overpowered jumping in. So you can strategically place your tools in certain areas and certain POIs, but just know you're going to start off with less health than your total health pool has, right? So instead of 90, you might be going in with 30 out of 90. But you can easily go find vigor or rations that will supply you with vigor, and you can get your health back and get it back up to 100. But again, another balancing key here is that now you're losing a location where you can gain health because you've already expended it to get your health back at the very beginning of the match. So again, there is a give and take to the game, which is really cool. It gets you strategizing quite a bit. Now we have Atonement. Each strength or fortification sacrifice provides 20 ambrosia. So if we sacrifice anything up here, we get 20 additional ambrosia. So if we're really hard up on ambrosia because we just can't find enough, or we've been, given some really bad curses, this could help. Like, all right, let's just start getting rid of cards. And then Hideout. New structures can be entered which cause the Devourer to lose track of you. Finally, fully regenerate vigor once. I haven't tested this one out. We had it, but we never used it. So we'll see how this goes. Atonement's been nice. Honestly, my favorite has been energy rations. To be able to up your health to a maximum of 150 is huge, especially when you get later on in the season. So you go from night 1 to all of a sudden, let's say night 4, the Devourer is much stronger. When it attacks you, it will take more health. So the more health you have, the more vigor you have, the better you are to take those hits. So I really like energy rations. I'm a big fan of that so far. All right, so let's go ahead. So within the first night here, unlock a strength or fortification or tool after this night. Unlock the Water Fiend's lore entry in the compendium, and equip village fortification after this night. All right, listen to whispers. Let's go ahead. All right, so the Devourer's attacks deal half damage. I'll take it, because sometimes you just have to eat an attack. When it attacks, it's an animation that you get locked into, so there's no getting out of it. To an extent, there is a way of eventually kind of releasing yourself from the attack using a quick time event. But other than that, like, you sometimes just have to eat the attack and just go for it. So this can help with that. Ill Vigor, starting vigor is halved. We'll see what happens here. That's not terrible, not great, but as long as it doesn't eat into our total vigor pool and we still have 150, it's okay. We'll heal. We'll get through it. Twisted Empathy. Now this is pinned on the board, as you can see here, the pin at the top, because this is what lasts for all 5 nights. Twisted Empathy. Damaging the Devourer also damages you for the next 5 seconds. Good lord. We need 3 fragments to banish the Devourer at this point, because we're in Season 3. Whenever you're in Season 1, it starts off with 1 fragment, then 2 fragments, then 3, and it stays at 3, at least thus far. So now we have the different landmarks where we can place tools, but we have to use Vigor up in order to place those tools. We get Vigor Elixir, used to slowly restore Vigor over the course of 3 minutes. Blood Flask, fills up the Devourer's blood when in close proximity. Throw the filled flask to cause damage. Now, the flask, I guess from what I understand, is supposed to do a fair amount of damage, but you have to be within proximity. So ideally, it's getting to the point where you're not aggroing it to be in its proximity. So you have to be sneaky, because whenever you get later on in the season, it gets faster. So you're not going to really have much time to fill up the flask if it's chasing you. You have Monster Vein, placed to create a vein that points towards the Devourer. Ringing its bell will lure the Devourer toward it. Now, this is the thing that I had issues with during the unreleased version, if you will, the before 1.0 build, where it would start going to the vein. I'm hiding off far to the side in the dark, and it would just hightail it straight to me. So I don't know if this is actually working properly or not, but we'll definitely test it out and see. Holy Water. Throw at the Devourer to reduce the amount of damage it causes for 3 minutes. Stink Pot. Throw to damage the Devourer, but cause it to chase you for 15 seconds. I'm going to assume that even if you try to hide, you're going to be smelled out, I guess, at this point, right? So it's going to find you. So at this point, you better hope that you have the hideout card active, so you can just, I guess, jump into there and hope for the best. Or that it's earlier on in the season where the Devourer is a bit slower. And then Antitoxin, used to become immune to poison for 2 minutes. Now this is handy if the water's poisoned or the corn is poisoned, for example. And then Hatchets, throw to damage the Devourer. And I guess, you know, this is a range attack, which is nice. And I'm assuming it does a fair amount of damage, though we don't know how much because it's not listed. All right, so we're going to place that on the tree. So that'll be there for us for later. Let's go ahead and begin the hunt. The intro kind of reminds me of Dead by Daylight when you're the killer, in some respects. But you know, you're kind of the killer, but kind of not. It's an interesting back and forth, which is cool. All right, so we're going to restore vigor. The Devourer is near. You get a lot of visual cues, which is nice, and a lot of auditory cues. Also, there is a fiend nearby, I believe. Now, one thing you have to be careful of is when you're in the dark for too long, your vision becomes slightly impaired. It does get darker, and I do feel like it does impact you in other ways, but I'm not 100% sure on how yet. Still learning that element. So even though the lantern can give you away, you also need to use it. Okay, so we're trying to grab Ambrosia. Now the other thing is you have to grab Ambrosia pretty quickly because the Devourer will corrupt Ambrosia, which makes it... Oh, there's the hideout. Okay, cool. Which makes it so that way you won't be able... Dude is right there. Screw you, fiend. I hate you. Now, mind you, there is a great card, by the way, called Vandal, where you can vandalize the fiends, so you can just get rid of them altogether, which is also very nice. Yeah, see, contaminated by Devourers, that's Ambrosia we can't use anymore. We can't harvest it. Yeah, there's a fiend on this tree. I can hear it, I just can't see it. Running aggressively. Oh, god damn it. We got stuck in corn, which slows you down. I like the placement of Ambrosia, too. Like, there will be some in the water, some in the corn, some in certain POIs. Like, it really does get you exploring. And it will tell you through Warden Sight here. Warden Sight will highlight certain elements. And it will tell you what cards you have with fortifications, what are the cards for the current season / day, how much Ambrosia's in the farmlands. The only thing I don't care for Warden Sight is it feels too cluttered. I wish there was a way to turn it off and on, the UI elements, because it just feels like too much. Like, if I'm using Warden Sight, I want to be able to see, and it's just hard to see anything with all that stuff, all that info there. It's good info, I just want an option to turn it off. But yeah, this is a really fun game where if you want to just run through the whole thing, you can. Or if you just want to kind of casually go in and out, you know, one night in the season kind of thing, you can totally do that too. All right, the pitchfork, which is a super handy tool. It's the weakest tool, but it is honestly very handy. I want to get that ambrosia. Now, we could try banishing now if we want to. Because it would be the easiest to banish them currently. Oh, we can see it actually corrupting the ambrosia there. Hey. Hey, stop it. Time to run. Oh, wow, you actually take a fair amount of damage. Wow, you actually take a fair amount of damage. Oh, hi. Damn, I wasn't expecting to take that much damage from that card. The, was it empathy, I think? Or if we damage it, it damages us. Wow, wow. Now, the light seems to be quite directional, so I usually like to look down, turn on the lantern, kind of refresh myself, and then go back into it so I don't draw the devourer. Alright, so we have to watch out for fiends. We know there's a fiend over here. Alright, we'll see what happens here. So we need to find another pitchfork, ideally. There we go. There's one right there. Alright, so we have a hideout here. Oh, it looks like we get healed for each hideout that we use. I thought it was just any hideout. Well, that's cool, because when it's glowing red, that means you get a heal from it. Ooh. So if we hang out here, we can be tactful. So we can attack it, and we can run into the hideout. Hey, jerk. It's trying to get my booty. Also, I lost track of the hideout. Oh, shit. Ooh, mama. Okay, there's the hideout. I think we're okay right now. Okay, we have a fiend nearby. Effigy tree is there. So we have our second part so far. Now the nice thing is too, like, let's say the goal is to get 240 ambrosia. If you get 240 ambrosia before night 5, you can just keep extracting if you want to. And then you're fine. Also, I will say as a helpful tip, whenever the devourer emerges near you, you'll notice that shake and that little kind of stinger strike. Don't let it freak you out. Don't start running. because it doesn't inherently mean that it knows where you're at. Woo! All right. Well, we have piece 3. Banish the Devourer, let's do it. Alright, now we gotta find them. Run in, run in, run in. Oh, you can't pick Ambrosia while this is happening. Okay, darn, it's like right next to Ambrosia too. There we go. So when you banish, you can't just then farm the Ambrosia. That is your extraction. But we're at 154 of 280 in Season 3. Now we're going on to Night 2. Not too bad. So we got plus 50 Ambrosia for banishment, plus 20 for foraging, 84 harvested. So now we've unlocked Farmer. Move at regular speed when crossing cornfields. Oh, that's nice. Stalker plus Farmer. You are going to be so mobile. Choose one new strength. Ravenous rations recover vigor faster. Rations recover twice as much vigor. I mean, Gourmand is pretty nice too. Hey, thank you for the follow. Appreciate it. Welcome on in. All right, let's go ahead and choose Farmer. Choose one new fortification. Your hand is full, so we'll have to sacrifice something if we want something else. Water Fiends, so we got new information here. They look as diseased and abnormal as the hulking beast itself. If they sense you on the waters, they bob up and down, then start frothing something fierce. Better get away quick. The bubbling water hurts like hell and makes such a racket the monster is on you before you can blink. I wish I could chop those devil reeds, but it doesn't work. New ones regrow almost immediately. It's not natural. This reminds me of the way fungal cells interact with plant roots. Maybe Martum was cutting a fungal fruiting body, which then regrew? Alright, so let's go ahead. We'll jump into the next night. Survive the night to unlock a strength or fortification or tool. Survive the night to equip a village fortification and unlock the Whisper's lore entry in the compendium. 174 out of 280 Ambrosia. Can we do it? Hopefully so. Let's see. This is night 2. We still have Twisted Empathy, which, man, that hurts, but at least we have Hideout. Hideout is really nice against Twisted Empathy because, yes, you're taking damage after you damage the Devourer, and it's actually a fair amount of damage. But the nice thing is, if you're near a Hideout, you can just jump into the Hideout, be completely safe from the Devourer, and on your first entrance into an individual Hideout, you get healed, your full vigor amount. So that is hugely helpful against Twisted Empathy. Poisoned water sucks. The water is poisoned, slowly draining vigor upon touch. Water is everywhere. This is going to be interesting. We might just end up farming for Ambrosia and not trying to do the banishment because, oof. Having Twisted Empathy plus poisoned water, if you're trying to run away after attacking him, that's rough. And now we have Mighty Pitchfork. Strengthens the Pitchfork, dropping a fragment after only one hit, which is great. You don't have to hit him 3 times. So that's less damage you're taking from Twisted Empathy, so that kind of helps, I guess. But still, Poison Water, Twisted Empathy. And personally, I don't know if getting near these holes attracts the Devourer either. Like Demogorgon in Dead by Daylight, where you have your little portals. I'm not sure if it works the same way or no. It doesn't seem to thus far, but I am not 100% certain. Go away. My Ambrosia. My Ambrosia. Do. We're getting some nice sized ambrosia crops, stalks, I don't know what you want to call them, but the size actually in this game does matter. The smaller the bit of ambrosia, the smaller amount you forage. The larger it is, the more you get. So if you can get to the large ones before they get contaminated, that is huge. Saved by corn, that almost never happens. You know, in this game, it's so good how you can run, hide, not move, be quiet, and actually lose the chase, lose the entity. I love that part of the game because in so many games, it's like once they aggro, they're just on you. And no matter what, no matter how little sense it makes, they are on top of you. Oh, you dick. Wait, can I? Oh, I can't steal it from you. When it's interacting with it, you can't steal it from them. Ooh, I'm stealing it right behind you, buddy. Snatch. All right, so we are at 220. There's only 37 ambrosia left on the farmland. With the poison water, I really do not want to try to do a banishment, honestly. I think it's just going to be too annoying. By the way, if you want to see the build that we played just before release, check out the YouTube channel. There is a full playthrough, 4 hours worth, where we go through the first 2 characters? We went through Antonia and Martine. Yeah, so the first 2 characters. And we unlocked some of that lore. So if you're trying to catch up, feel free to check out that video as well. Dude, can you move? I would like you to move. You're being very rude. I'm just saying. All right, let's see the rewards. Fragment bargain. The amount of fragments required to banish the devourer is randomized, 1 to 3. Ooh. I like that. Because you're always going to have 3 fragments. So if you don't get anything from it, that's okay. But if you can get away with a banishment with only 1 part, meaning that you only have to fight the devourer once or attack it once, 1 altercation, that's pretty nice. Plus you're going to get some nice ambrosia from it. I like that. All right. See, we also have, we have Gourmand again. Loiterer, slowly regenerate vigor while crouched. That I like a lot too. Parasite is pretty interesting, especially with the curse card that we have, where it's Twisted Empathy, where if we damage the devourer, we take damage. In this case, we kind of balance it out with Parasite, because we would actually be getting vigor back, so we'd be losing it and gaining it at the same time. Whispers. And yet those whispers, I know no link between the murmurs heard through the mask and the conditions we face on nights the devourer prowls. You have laid out a scene I cannot yet comprehend. If I listen closer, they speak of a deep connection. Ambrosia, the devourer, its fiends. They are all as one being. No. Listening clouds my mind. I'm already drawn to these voices, soothing as the susurration of my congregation, bewitching as the distant voices of angels. I must hold my longing at bay. It's clear many things in Luna Nova are connected, but to call them one being, what kind of living creature could create such disparate growths? No, the whispers must have lied to Nathaniel too. I shouldn't listen, but I hunger to know more. Unlock a strength fortification or tool after this night. So current in hand we have Fragment Bargain, which I will totally dig. Hideout, energy rations, and foraging. We have Stalker, Farmer, Loiterer. Yeah, we have such a mobile build right now. Move a lot faster while crouching. Move at regular speed when crossing cornfields. And then we're slowly regenerating vigor, so we have to hunt less for rations to gain our vigor back. So we can just kind of keep moving. Spare Mask. This one is actually interesting. A mask can be found in each secondary landmark. Wear them to gain random Warden strengths. Poisoned Fragments. Son of... Devourer fragments are poisoned, slowly draining vigor while carrying them. Actually, okay, that one kind of sucks, but if you can plan it out where you can have the fragments drop near the effigy tree, not so bad. If you get antitoxin and use it before picking up the fragment, you're okay. Because what you have to do anyway is you have to usually hit the Devourer 3 times, unless you have a card that helps you otherwise. But you have to hit him 3 times to get a fragment. But even then, the Devourer can still attack you after that fragment comes off. It doesn't just run off. So you have to run and hide anyway. So you might as well run, hide, grab the antitoxin, go to the fragment, drop it off at the effigy tree. Or have it be right next to the effigy tree so you're not taking that much damage anyway. Or another interesting thing is if you have the card we have where we get healed from crouching, you could actually pick up the fragment, crouch, take damage, but get it healed back anyway. So crouch walk. And if you have the card that helps you move faster while crouching, it actually isn't too bad, I would assume. I've not actually tried it, but we'll try it today, I guess. Then we have Twisted Empathy as well. Now, the other thing, too, is that the Devourer gets faster. So Knights 3, 4, and 5 become tougher. So when you hit them with the Pitchfork, there's a bit of stagger to the Devourer. So as long as you keep getting in a certain rhythm, you can just hit them without it ever hitting you, and then you can run off with the part flying off of the Devourer, right? But as it gets difficult, as you get closer to Knight 5, you will notice that it will attack quicker, which means you might get 1 or 2 shots in, but when you try to go for that third, even with the same rhythm you've been doing, it can still get you. Which is where having a weapon that can hit harder to get a part sooner comes in handy as well. So something like, for example, the hatchet. Yep, being nearby. Almost got caught, but I think we're good. It did call the Devourer, though, so the Devourer is coming, as you can see. Baby, go away. I don't need you in my life. Yeah, the devs say there is unlimited replayability because of the different kinds of cards that can impact your gameplay experience. So it'll be interesting to see, after putting in several hours into the game, how the gameplay feels, you know? Does it still feel fresh, or does it feel like it needs something else? And currently, I don't know how long the gameplay loop is for this game when it comes to unlocking everything, getting all the lore, playing through all the characters. For at least those elements, I'm not sure how long that takes. So far, we've been playing for about 5 hours, I want to say, between the build we played just before launch and this one. And we're already on character 3 of 5, I believe. Oh, you know what? If you're going to use Blood Flask, Hideout is perfect. You can get the entity to chase you, you just pop into a hideout. The Blood Flask fills perfectly with blood, and then it's good to go. You're good to use it now. That's actually great. Effigy tree. Oh, hey there, bud. Hi there. Just here doing a little bit of farming. How are you doing, eh? How's your day? Oh, boy. You're a bit hangry, aren't you? Yeah, you seem a bit hangry. I do not know where you're at, but I want to yeet something at your face. Where the hell are you? Yeet! Oh, mama! Oh! They're so fast. So fast. But yes, so Blood Flask did make it so one hit, a part came off. That's great. Hey, you jerk. How's it going? I'm gonna take your face, okay? I'm gonna treat you like I'm Nicolas Cage. Let's go. Whew. All right. 50 banishment, 20 for foraging, 91 harvested. We're at 402 out of 280. So for the other two nights, we can just extract. We're fine. We're golden. We got quite fortunate with the RNG. Proxy Poppet. Use it to damage the devourer from any distance, but leaves you with extremely low vigor. Okay, okay. But again, if you're near a hideout that hasn't been used yet, you can get your health right back up. Or if you're near rations, you can pop it and then grab the ration. Choose one new strength. Gourmand, rations recover twice as much vigor. Parasite, receive vigor when damaging the devourer. Messenger, run and walk faster. Also a plus. There we go. 423 out of 280. Make no noise when walking or running, including on Noisemakers Lurker, which can be quite helpful when you have a lot of fiends. Uncovered writings by Enid. Sadb? I know this is not the Tir na Nog we were promised. Not with a lone dying tree and poisoned water, but it's what we've been given. We'll make do, sister, as we always have. Just you and me growing old together like the hags we are. I'll find a way to banish this creature once and for all. Interpreting the mask's whispers is like listening to the sounds of the forest. I just need to focus on the whispers and tune out that feral hunger I feel. Believe me, I have this in hand and I'm almost there. You know I never lie, Sabd. Everything I say is true, from one angle or another. I miss you, sister. I wasn't wrong to... Well, even if I was wrong to bring us here, the least I can do is get us out. We'll go back home and continue taking on the world together, as we've always done. This feral hunger, I wonder if it's connected to Mom and Dad's deaths. I hear whispers, but I don't feel this hunger yet. At least I don't think so. I'm not very hungry these days. New harvest begins. All Warden strengths are reset. 4 village fortifications are retained. The Devourer mutates. Spine growth. The Devourer's limbs sprout under your feet, causing damage and alerting the Devourer to your location. Oh, I hate it. Gah. Alright, now we play as Renee. They shall pick up the Mask of the Warden. Congregation moved to Luna Nova, but didn't find what they expected. Was it a struggle to work together, or were they prepared for it? Renee the Messenger. I can't figure out Renee. Messenger or spy? Master of languages or deception? Everything about them is contradictory. What did they have to gain by coming to such a small village as Luna Nova? Listen to whispers. Dormant fiends. Yes. Blight. No ambrosia. No ambrosia will appear in the farmlands. This is like one of the worst cards. But mind you, if you're going to get Blight, you might as well get it at the beginning of a season rather than at the end, where if you really need Ambrosia, you're now just screwed and you're kind of forced to have to banish. So I would definitely still give this game an 8 out of 10. I would still definitely highly recommend it. I think it's a great first-person roguelite made by a team of 4. Visuals on point. Audio cues on point. Audio design is fantastic. There are so many good things about this game. And I had a hell of a lot of fun. Like, time flew and I keep getting pulled back in. I keep wanting to play, you know, and that's what you want with a roguelite. You want enough value where it pulls you back in, because you can face some pretty nasty defeats. And so to have that value, to have that excitement, to want to play again is so important. There have been some runs where we were just very fortunate. We had very good RNG. Some runs, especially with Renee, where we had terrible RNG. And then there were some runs where it was a back and forth. You definitely felt very back and forth. It could have went either way. But I think we got very fortunate with our run because I think we got either very good RNG or we got the back and forth. And we didn't try to run and be too aggressive. We utilized stealth where we needed to, and it just worked out. So I think that's why we were able to get through it even as quickly as we have. But yeah, again, the experience is going to be different for each person too. So I recommend you check it out for yourself. Check it out on Steam. It just launched today. So check out Harvest Hunt by Villainous Games Studios and Neonhive Games. Again, 8 out of 10, highly recommend. I think it's fantastic. It's really, really cool, and I can't wait to see what these devs do next. Thank you very much for watching the stream today or for checking out the YouTube video. Greatly appreciate you. More information will be either in the chat or in the description below. Also, make sure to comment on your thoughts. What did you think of Harvest Hunt? Are you planning on diving in and becoming a warden? Are you currently a warden? Have you, jumped into the game? What are your thoughts on it? What would you like to see? What do you really appreciate about it? Let me know in the comments. But until then, I will see you in the next video.